Welcome back to the Power and Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Soul. Thank you so much for joining in. Today is an astrology episode. And if you're new to this podcast, this is not an astrology podcast, but I do have an astrology series. And for 2026, from episode 140 onward, all of the odd numbered episodes are astrology based or astrology themed, or it's just me doing my solo thing. Okay. The even numbered episodes for 2026 onward, episode 140 onward, the even numbered episodes are guest episodes, and those episodes have been absolutely amazing for this year. So make sure you're tuning in to whatever feels best for you, whatever aligns with your highest priorities right now. And then share this podcast. Share this podcast with just one person today. That would help me out so, so much. That'd be a huge favor. And yeah, let's get into it. We're going to talk about the sun, moon, and rising signs. We're just going to talk about like big picture. Why do those three things matter? If you've been in conversation with someone about astrology and they might be like, "Oh, you're a Gemini sun," and you're like, "Yeah, yeah, my birthday's in May, at the end of May, or my birthday's at the end of June." They're like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm a Gemini too. What's your moon and rising sign?" And you're like, "Huh? My moon and rising sign?" Because you might only know your sun sign, and that's common. Most people only know their sun sign. I think went back when newspapers were a thing and magazines were a thing, if you're old enough to remember that. I used to read the 17 magazine, and I would look for my horoscope. I would flip to the back of the magazine, I would look at the Scorpio section. I'd be like, "Oh, okay, this is cool." And that was, that was the mainstream way of presenting astrology, because it was simple and it can apply to the masses, because your sun sign only requires your birth date and the month and the year. That's it. The rising sign gets a little bit more complex because you need the time that you were born. A lot of people don't have it, or a lot of people do have it. They just don't know that they could find it on their birth certificate. Or if you call the hospital, or you go online and you go through the hospital's portal and you get your records, you could actually find your time of birth. Or you could ask someone in your family. Your mom might know, somebody might know. From my experience, my clients are like, my parents have no clue. So don't get offended if that's the case. But if you want to find your rising sign, I think the hidden gem that most people don't know, if it's not on your birth certificate, go to your hospital records. If the hospital that you were born at in the United States is still open, then they have a system for you to access those records. Okay? You're going to have to prove your identity. You're going to have to prove it's you, asking for your document. But whether you do it online, or I don't know, it depends on how savvy that hospital is. You can get your records, and your birth time should be on there. If not, you could order a special copy of your birth certificate with the birth time on there, even if it's not on the original. But that typically comes up because most people want to know their rising sign, because they find out how important it is, because it is very important. It's extremely important. Extremely. I think the rising sign is more important than your sun. Sun sign, you probably already know it. Rising sign, if you're interested, there's a link in the description. You could look it up for free. Use charts dash, what is it? Astro.com, charts-astro.com. Just click on the link. It's completely free. And then you could order some reports on there that are like super cheap. And if you don't want to like work with an astrologer, or you feel like you don't have the resources, or you feel like you don't have the time to get on a 1 hour astrology session, go to astro.charts.com and just order some of those reports. I'd rather you order those reports than get kind of lost in the chat GPT astrology that a lot of people are trying to do. And it can work with chat GPT, but you have to know what questions to ask. You need to have the prompts right. You need to know enough about astrology I think, before you're using ChatGPT to get detailed answers and to get accurate information. So if you want to use some type of computer generated system, or if you just want your chart and you want to just save your chart, screenshot it, print it out, go to astro-charts.com. Their site is easy to use. I'm not connected to them. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get anything from it, but just it's just a resource for you, okay? Most people know their sun sign, but your moon and rising describe completely different parts of you. Your sun sign matters because it's great for understanding like your core identity, your purpose, your life force energy, and the energy that you're growing into over time. It's the part where you're really meant to shine in that part of your life. So, for example, with the sun sign, let's just pick Capricorn. So, Capricorn sun, whether you're a Capricorn sun or you know someone, their birthday is at the end of December, mostly through January. Their sun signs a Capricorn. Capricorns often identify strongly with goals, growth, success, responsibility, or achievement. Their soul wants to build something meaningful over time. They usually mature into their sun sign more as they age, okay? But for a different sign, they're going to have like a different part of them that shines out, a different core identity. So for Libra, their core identity is going to feel like that person, that Libra, if they're a Libra sun, that they often value harmony, relationships, beauty, connection, fairness. Their identity develops through learning balance with other people. So the sun is who you are becoming. You can kind of keep it like that. The sun sign is who you are becoming. Now, let's jump into the rising sign. The rising sign matters because it's good for understanding your personality. It's different from the core of who you are, okay? Personality is different from the core of who you are. Your personality is like the part where people first meet you. It's that first impression, like oftentimes people don't know that I'm a Scorpio because I come off more like my rising sign. And that's true for most people. They come off more first impressions. People get like an idea of your personality or kind of like some of your characteristics, and that will match up with your rising sign. It's also your approach to life. It's also the timeline and the path of your life. And also, the rising sign is really important because it does set up your whole entire natal chart. It sets up the houses. So, your rising sign is the first house. And then, because the zodiacs are in a certain order, your second house will be the sign that comes after your rising sign. Okay, so I'm a Leo rising. So then my second house is Virgo, and then my third house is Libra, and then my fourth house is Scorpio in whole sign houses, and then my fifth house is Sagittarius, and so on and so on. And the houses falling under all those other signs are very important for transits, for reading the chart, for reading like the timing of your life, because you want to know what's going on in other areas of your life throughout the whole entire year, not just your birthday month. You want to kind of track things and see like what's happening throughout the whole entire year. So the rising sign is the lens you experience your life through. It's how you see the world. Also how you initiate and how you execute on things as well. But we're going to stick with the Capricorn Libra example. So Capricorn risings, they often come across, again, this is first impression. This is not someone, maybe their sun sign is something else. They might be a Cancer sun or a Scorpio sun. But a Capricorn rising, they often come across as mature, grounded, serious, responsible, and ambitious. Life tends to push them into leadership, structure, discipline, and long-term growth. This is like their persona. Like, and in business astrology, this is like your brand, basically, the first house. Like if you're a Capricorn rising, your brand is going to be all about being like ambitious and grounded and structured and disciplined. So even as kids, they seem to be older than their age. That's for Capricorn rising. Now, another example just for the rising sign, let's stick with Libra. We've been using Capricorn, Libra. Libra risings also, they appear charming, diplomatic, likable, sociable, and just like into the aesthetics, into like how they look, or fashion, or beauty, or luxury, or those types of things. And their life path revolves around relationships, connection, balance, and learning through other people. The rising sign is how you move through life. Okay. The rising sign is how you move through life. Now, moon sign, why does it matter? It's best for understanding your emotions, your emotional needs, your nervous system, how you receive things, your receptivity to life or to people, and what makes you feel safe internally. Also, what drives you too, like what really fulfills you, it's going to be your moon sign. You're going to look at where your moon sign is. You're going to look at what sign it's in and what house it's in. Your moon sign is your emotional body. It's the private version of you. So let's go over some key examples just to recap, right? We're still sticking with Capricorn as an example. The Capricorn sun person, their core identity revolves around growth, achievement, and purpose. The Capricorn moon person, they emotionally process life through control, responsibility, and emotional restraint. The Capricorn rising person experiences life through Capricorn themes externally, often, through it just they appear first impression to be mature and driven. Now, for Libra, because we were using Libra as an example, let's just recap that real quick, right? What's the difference between a Libra sun person, a Libra moon person, and Libra rising? A Libra sun person, their identity, like their core identity, develops through relationships, fairness, beauty, and balance. For the Libra moon person, they emotionally need harmony and connection to feel safe. The Libra sun person may not need harmony to feel safe, but it is a part of their core identity that they could bring to the table. Okay? Hopefully that helps. Libra rising, naturally present as charming, relational, and social and diplomatic. So the Libra rising person, that they're like, you might get that first impression like, oh my gosh, this person is so social and charming and beautiful, and everything they do is beautiful and blah blah blah. But you might not, it may not be like their core identity, because that Libra rising person, they might have a Gemini sun sign, right? Or a different sun sign, Capricorn sun sign, whatever it might be. So hopefully this is landing. And it's so interesting because a lot of people don't feel, quote unquote, they don't feel like their sun sign. Like they don't really they're like, I'm a Taurus, but like I don't really connect with my sun sign. I'm a Sagittarius, and I don't really connect with it. Your moon and your rising sign can dominate your personality. And that's why you may not be connecting to your sun sign. Also, we grow into our sun sign, most of us. I think I'm the only person that's kind of done it in reverse, but for the most part, according to astrology textbooks, we grow into our sun sign. The house placements change the expression too. So, you know, um, your moon and rising can dominate your personality. If your sun sign is in a really introvert house, like maybe the fourth house or the third house, but your moon and your sun sign are in the 10th and the 11th house, you actually might come off like an extroverted person, but really your core identity, like who you really are, is a little bit more introverted because it's in the fourth house. So it all depends on the houses. Astrology is a full system. It's not just one sign. Keep that in mind. You feel inspired to look at your chart, just start to get to know like what your sun sign is, what your rising sign is, what your moon sign is. And just remember the sun is like your core identity. Your moon sign is your emotional world on a very basic level. It's a lot more than that, actually. it's hard for me just to give the surface level identifications, but I'm going to stick with it because I want this to be a simple episode. And then your rising sign is how you see the world, how you show up in the world. It's your first impression. So, if you want to understand your chart on a deeper level, whether you're a beginner, please book a session with me. I love doing astrology for business and career. So, if you want to book a career and business session, it's all the same link. You just go to my website, book a session. I would love to help you start to use this as a tool because that's what astrology is. It's just a tool. It's not something that we're worshiping. It's not something that has to dictate your life. It's not something that has to define you. It's just like a GPS. It's just like a weather system. Think of it like that. So I hope this episode was helpful in one way or another. Please leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube, or please rate the podcast if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And once again, please share this episode with one person, just one. I know you could think of one person today. Maybe you just ran into someone today, or someone's been on your mind. That one. That's the person where you can just send them this episode, or any other episode on the Power and Purpose podcast. Thanks again for listening and have a great day.